The Chaimeleon project is about reproducibility, that means data harmonization, usability, that means how to take data from the hospitals to answer the right questions, and precision medicine, that means finding the best treatment for the patients that need that treatment. On the first years of the Chaimeleon project, we were discussing on one part on the architecture of the platform, on the other part on the legal requirements for data transfer. Other part was related on how to take the relevant variables from the electronic health records, and then we were discussing which variables were relevant dealing with breast, lung, prostate, colon, and rectal tumors for the questions we were willing to answer.
For the development of harmonization solutions, the main technical challenges that you face are the variability that you can find across the different sites, acquisition protocols, manufacturers, when you deal with this heterogeneous data set. So in order to overcome this limitation, it was very important to understand the heterogeneity that we can find across all this variability, and to provide a solution that combines all the use cases that we can find in the real world.
The important thing was to have clinically relevant data sets and yet stay realistic on the data that we would actually find on the clinical sites. So in the end, we defined mandatory data, which included the inclusion criteria and the endpoints, and optional data, which would enrich the data sets. One important issue was to have a clinically relevant data set and yet ensure the privacy of the data. We had a lot of European countries that are involved, and their interpretation of GDPR can vary. So we settled on an anonymization process that would keep that clinically relevant data and at the same time ensure security and privacy.
We are applying the European Data Protection Authority's standards that are based in one phase of the identification, a second round, a second layer of anonymization in order to erase every metadata, every risk of re-identification, and a final risk analysis is implemented in order to be sure that we will achieve the goal. On the other hand, we are working in a challenge activity in order to submit our methodology to an effort experiment, and we expect to be successful on that.
The Chaimeleon platform is a research infrastructure that combines storage and processing capabilities. So data providers can store the data for research there, and data scientists can use the processing capabilities of the platform for developing the AI models without having to download to the premises, ensuring data privacy, but providing an environment for processing and creating new AI models. The Chaimeleon platform has been tested by an external group of users that were participating in a competition, an open challenge, in which they were developing AI models using our tools and our platform. This was very useful for us to understand the restrictions and the different conditions of users that didn't know anything of our platform, and at the same time was a stress test for our repository.
One major insight that we gained throughout the external validation as part of the Chaimeleon Open Challenges was that it's a challenge for the AI developers that they're not able to download the data, but that they have to bring their code into the repository. And one learning we had was that this requires a lot of documentation, some ramp-up time, and good tutorials that the AI developers get used to the repository environment.
The sustainability strategy is divided into a short-term and a long-term strategy. The short-term approach is to allow the classification and the access to the data included into the repository through an index or a catalog. The catalog is the IBIR catalog, which has been built exactly to facilitate the search of data into large repository of image data. The long-term approach for the sustainability of the Chaimeleon project is to transfer and to converge in the EUCAIM project. The aim of EUCAIM project is to be the federation of the different repositories created by the project of the AI for Health call, like ProCancer, Incisive, EUCANimage, PRIMAGE, which was a project funded in a previous call. All these projects has created or are creating large repository. EUCAIM is going to be the federation of these large repositories.
Something that is worth highlighting is definitely the great academic industry collaborations we built throughout the Chaimeleon project. And it's just very nicely to see how pragmatic, constructive, and fruitful the collaboration between all the academic, clinical, but also industry partners turned out.
We are on the last part of the project, willing to further increase the number of cases, to further improve the quality of the data we do have, to improve also the tuning and the results of the AI tools we are producing, and to have a deep impact on clinical pathways with oncologists, urologists, radiotherapists, and clinicians in hospitals.